Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
It's been a long time since I've been in a classroom. Well, we're going to talk about entrepreneurship today. Who knows what entrepreneurship is?
Come on.
It's kind of like being your own boss, isn't it?
Being your own boss? Yeah, okay. Well, I Googled it. Entrepreneurship is the designing, launching, and running a new business, which is often initially a small business. It certainly is. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I had the privilege of being the founder of the bank in 1966. That's 53 years. I decided that probably I could never be a president of a bank unless I started my own, and then my wife and I voted as to who would be the president, and I got the job. So I've been there ever since. So we're going to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. Somebody in this room, or maybe two or three, will start their own business down the line. I was 32 years old when I got the idea.
Good morning, student staff. At this time, can we have all sophomores with their laptops charged and ready to go to the Aux Gym for day 2 of ISTEP? Thank you very much. Bye.
So we had the idea of starting a bank. In any entrepreneurship, there has to be a demand for the product or the service, obviously. We did the survey in Fulton County and found out that almost all home mortgage lending was going out of county. So we thought that's really a place there that it might fly. So we got a charter from the Federal Home Loan Bank system. You don't have to have a lot of money back then to start a bank. You had to have subscribers. We had to have about 200 subscribers for $250,000 before we could get the charter that we were interested in getting. So, I look back at what was my motivation. Well, if I could look way back, like when I was in the 4th grade, I was raised on a farm, just like a lot of you people have been. And I raised melons. So I decided that I would take a couple melons to school and sell them to my teacher. My mother wasn't very happy with that when she found out I was doing it. And I'm not sure, well, it's got value. And I said, would you like to buy this, Mrs. Ferguson? How much is it? It's 15 cents. Sure, okay, I'll take a melon. So maybe that was the beginning of entrepreneurship. Also, some other avenues. My dad, after we harvested the wheat one summer, he said, "Richard, you can have the straw." Okay, good. So we raked it up and got it baled, and then I put an ad in the paper to sell the straw. Well, a gentleman came to me or called me, and he said he'd take 100 bales. And okay, good. Where do you want it? We'll deliver it. Delivered it up near Rochester. He gave me a check. At that, about a week later, I left to go back to Purdue. And about a week after that, my dad called me and he says, "That check you deposited bounced." Oh boy, I lost all faith in humanity. But I was doing this guy, I thought, a real good favor, and then he gave me a check that bounced. That's part of the learning process, I guess. So anyway, I went on to Purdue and had a lot of enterprises going on in Purdue. At the fraternity house, I had the opportunity of buying the concessions a couple $100 that you could buy the franchise, and that worked out very well. My senior year at Purdue, I made money doing various things like that. I was a senior football manager. We had tickets available. At that time, there was great demand for tickets, and we could go to the campuses like Notre Dame or Wisconsin or Illinois, and the players would give me their tickets to sell. They would have been given tickets for the game for their family, and a lot of times their family didn't go, so we could make some money off of that. The point I'm making is that I guess all my life I've been an enterprising person. That okay, yeah, we can do that, and try to make it happen. So my college roommate is the one that gave me the idea about starting a bank. He was my roommate and best man in our wedding, and I was best man in his wedding, and we're still very, very best friends. He was quite an entrepreneur himself. He got involved in car washes. That was a big deal back then, that you could get a franchise for a car wash. Drive-in theaters. How many of those do you see now? So, but that was a popular thing, and Joe was involved in both of those, drive-in theaters and car washes. So there's a lot of things happening there. Now, I'm going to tell you, I won the Entrepreneur of the Year award in '78. I think it was '78. Let's see, what does that say? No, not that long. In the '90s. And let me tell you a little bit about that. They had an accounting firm had a contest every year in like southern Indiana, northern Indiana, and central Indiana of entrepreneurs, and they had different categories. Ours was banking, of course. One of the other winners at this regional outing was the gentleman that started the South Bend chocolate company. And any of you heads at South Bend chocolate? Hey, wake up, come on. Okay, well, it's in South Bend, it's in a lot of the airports. Anyway, it's an idea that his dad had it and made it fly. We went to this, my wife and I were invited to go to the national, where the winners of these various categories all came in, and then there was another contest. The winner of that was Enterprise Car Rentals. Any of you here Enterprise Car Rentals?
Yes.
What's their slogan? We'll bring it to you. That's how he built the business. This gentleman, whose name was Taylor, Jack Taylor, served in World War II. He was a fighter pilot, and he was on the aircraft Enterprise, and thus that's where the name for this company came from, is Enterprise. He was after the service, he was a salesperson at a Cadillac dealership in St. Louis. He noticed the people bring in their cars, and there was no loaners, there was no rentals. Oh, maybe there's an opportunity here. So he partnered up with another person. They got 2 or 3 junk cars, and they offered to rent the cars to the customers that they could drive that day while theirs was being repaired. He told the story at that award ceremony. He won the whole thing nationally. Jack Taylor. He just died a couple years ago at age 92. He was a multimillionaire. Somebody had his net worth at about 16 billion. Started out with that one in St. Louis, and he told the story about that he had his name, the name of the company in the phone book, and he said when the phone would ring, I'd let it ring and ring and ring as if I were really busy. He wanted to create that, oh, this is a booming business. And then he, well, you need to, well, let me see if I have anything available. Well, I had 7 out there, not a lot. But anyway, he was creating that there was really a demand for this product. And keep in mind, there's a demand for the product, and that's so very important in entrepreneurship, that there has to be a demand there. So I've told the story many times about First Federal. You can't see that back there, but we started in the back of a grocery store. We had a parking lot next to it. None of the banks uptown had a parking lot. But one morning when we had about 1 inch of snow, I came to work, parked, and went inside. We only had one other employee besides myself, so parking was not an issue. But anyway, I learned from that. This gentleman came in about 10 o'clock, and he says, well, I can see I'm the first customer in the parking lot. So from then on, whenever I pulled in and had snowed, I'd go into every slot and make it look like it was fun. So
Okay, you want me to pass that picture around so everyone can see it?
Sure.
Just might get it.
So that's the building that the bank started in the back of that building.
Yep, it was a grocery store at that time.
Now this is a picture of our building now in Rochester, and we have 5 other locations throughout northern Indiana. We've always been green oriented. My wife especially was green oriented, and a couple of my kids. And green doesn't mean that we paint the bricks green. You know that. So the branch that we built up in Mishawaka 10 years ago is LEED certified. That means it's green. And as far as I know, I think we're the only bank branch in the state. Take out some guidelines here that you can take them with you. I wrote these many years ago. They still are apropos. And we'll start with 10 guidelines to success in life and business. Be positive. Respect and appreciate. Respect your elders. Appreciate your friends. Body and mind development. Make a conscious effort to learn at least one new thing each day. I had a history teacher in high school that just preached that. What have you learned today? You need to learn one new thing every day. Loyal, be loyal, make your word your bond. Aggressive, be aggressive and assertive. Ask questions you may not know as much as you think you do. Set long and short time goals, obtainable goals. I've seen some goals like I'm going to fly to the moon, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to be a billionaire. They have to be obtainable goals to be meaningful. Visualize your future as you would like it to be. You guys are 17, 18 years old. You know, where are you going to be in 10 years? What do you want to be doing in 10 years? Not to even mention like 15 years. You got to have some vision there. Don't waste time. It's so precious. Humor. Cultivate and nurture a sense of humor. It's a great healer and makes living a lot more fun and productive. Live your life and perform your job as though you are a peer to someone, because each one of you are a peer to somebody. A younger brother, a younger sister, or maybe somebody right here in the school. Now we'll go to the little white sheets here. Top 10 old and new sayings to improve quality of life. The harder you work, the luckier you'll be. Think about that. I had to say, people say, boy, you really been lucky. Well, I've been lucky, but we've worked hard also. Luck happens when preparation and opportunity meet. That's an old expression for how do you become a general? How do you become an admiral? It's because that when preparation and opportunity, you can be a prepared soldier, but if you never have the opportunity, you're probably not going to make general. It's what you learn after you know it all that counts. Perception is everything. We tell our people, especially in the teller line that are exposed to the public, that if our customer walks away with the perception that she or he had been taken advantage of, or was treated poorly, or they weren't polite, perception is everything. Be alert. You could save you a lot of heartaches. You can learn from someone. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Money can buy you a fine dog, but only love will make its tail wag. How many of you have pet dogs at home? Okay, several. And, get the tail to wag, you gotta show us a little bit of love. You receive what you expect. Take these home. I've given a lot of these out to high school seniors, and some of them come back from college and say, "Oh, I've got it on my mirror in the dorm." So, it's a privilege to be here today. Any questions, comments?
Any last minute questions? Nobody? You have anything to say, Taylor? I always have something to say.
All right, Bryce.
I guess I would like to know what was your process when you were starting the bank? I guess you said you saw the need, but was there anybody that you kind of modeled yourself after, or was there anybody that was higher up in the community that kind of, gave you a little guidance?
Not the guy that gave me the bad check for the straw.
No.
I handpicked organizers, and with the instruction from the Federal Home Loan Bank System, they said, okay, now go out in your community, get the leading lawyer in the community, get the leading medical doctor, get the leading person in agriculture, get the leading school teacher, get the John Q. citizen, so that you've got a cross-section there, which I tried to do that, and it worked very well. We had to raise the money through subscriptions. We had subscription pads made up, and our original organizers literally would carry them with and whether it was $10 or $10,000, we didn't care, because we had to have like 250 initial depositors, because the FDIC wanted the backing of the community as much as possible. I told you about my college roommate, and he was really pushing this and pushing me. And when we got down, we'd set a date. We were going to open on January 3rd, 1966. And that meant we had to have all this money in and on deposit, safe. And Joe called me one day and he says, "How you doing?" And I said, "Well, we're a little short." "How much you short?" I said, "About 15,000. "Okay, let me make a phone call." Pretty quick, he called me back, and he had done some work in Fort Wayne previously with Central Soya Company. He said, "You go to such and such bank, go down in front of the safe deposit boxes, and there'll be a gentleman there by the name of such and such. He'll have an envelope for you." Oh, okay. So I go there. Now this is pretty scary, though. I'm 31 years old, and I'm going there to meet somebody I don't know. And you, Dick? Yeah. Okay. Here's the envelope. I had no idea what was in it. He didn't ask for any receipt, nothing. And I opened it up. There was $10,000 in cash that he deposited with us. So You never know. So $10 or 10,000.
So do you think today, the regulations that exist today, would it allow you to do those type of things that you had done in 1966?
No.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That didn't take long.
There's been a couple banks start, and 3 or 4 that have failed. They have not failed as far as insurance is concerned, but they were forced to merge in with XYZ Bank. There was one in Lafayette, there's one in Indianapolis, that come to my mind. And the one in Indianapolis, attempted to start it, and I knew those people that were involved in it, just before the recession, and it was a bad time for them, and it didn't fly. Plus the fact, in my opinion, they way overbuilt. They spent much more money when they didn't have it, but there's no new charters that I know pending out there now.